Hey everybody, welcome back. This is James with Cadroll Hunter, and we have another box of dimes to hunt. Let's get into it. So we are back with another box of customer rolled dimes, and we're hoping we can find silver. In our last box, we'd been on a streak. We had 2 boxes in a row with silver, but our last box skunked us for silver. So we're hoping we can get back on the silver train with this one here. You never know, of course, Canadian coin roll hunting with these customer wrapped rolls, you could get a lot of silver or no silver at all. You just never know. So the only way to find out, of course, is to get into these rolls and see what somebody's put in them for us, and hopefully we find some treasure. So I'm just about to lay roll number 1 down, and we can see we've got some interesting edges here. It looks like we've got several US dimes. And this box has a bunch of rolls with the plastic wrappers. And I took a quick peek at a few of them. I didn't look at all of them. And I can see we've got our fair share of US dimes, which is completely to be expected here. Of course, the copper edges we can see mean that we've got copper, nickel dimes. And of course, what we're really wanting to find is silver. And I'll take US silver just as quickly as I'll take Canadian silver. So I'll let you in when we find anything interesting, but if we've got a ton of US coins in here, I'm probably not going to show all of them. So let's see what we got. All right, our first US dime in the box is going to be a 1994 Denver. So that's our first find. We'll put it up here on the board and hopefully we'll find some other goodies. We ended up with 3 in total in that roll. The other ones were a 2000 Denver and a 2007 Philadelphia. We can just add to our little stack of US coins here. Halfway through roll 2, and we're going to have a couple US almost back to back. There's a 2015 Philadelphia, and a little bit behind it, we're going to see another one. And this one is going to be a 2015 Denver. So we got the set. That's awesome. We'll keep going here again. I'm not going to bring you in for all of these US ones, but I will say this, that I quite like it when I find US coins in here, because what it means is that it typically hasn't been searched. Somebody's just honestly put up a whole bunch of coins and rolls. Because there's so many US dimes in circulation here in Canada, it usually means that it's probably a blank slate. We could find pretty much anything in here. So that's always a good sign, because I find that some other people, when they've been hunting, they take all of that stuff out. And I found some older dimes in here too, still all nickel, but it bodes well that there's at least a fighting chance that we're going to find something interesting in here. Roll number 3, and we've got what looks to be a pretty nice looking coin from, this could be anywhere from the late 60s to the mid 80s. This is a 1988 in pretty decent shape. We're going to set this aside and we'll maybe tube this up with our other relatively uncirculated. This is a pretty remarkable shape for 1988 for sure. Same roll, we got a 1980, which means we can put it under the scope and see if it's the wide date or the narrow date. I've got the Charlton guide here, and you can see they've got great listings on some of these varieties, and I often refer to this, and we can just check against the book to see that this is definitely the wide 0 variety. It's mostly I'm looking at the 9. It's because this is really fine on the narrow 0, and so this is the common one, and that's okay. We'll just keep looking. And just a little ways back, we have our first 1968, and it didn't look silver by the edge. So we'll just test it, and for sure, it's made of nickel, so that's not the one we're looking for. But that's okay. It might still be in there. I just cracked open roll number 4, and I found what might be another really nice, potentially 80s coin. It's got a few little marks on it, but not a lot of circulation wear. And if I can get it, it's another 1988. Doesn't look like it's quite as nice as the other one. I don't think I'll keep this aside, but maybe we'll find some nicer older ones in here. That's what we're hoping for. Same roll, and we just found our oldest dime of the hunt. It's a US 1967. This is not silver, but it is definitely an older coin. If this, of course, was a Canadian, if it was a 1967, it would be silver. So hopefully there's some other things this age and from this side of the border in the box. Same roll, and we found one that looks like from the 90s that still has a fair amount of mint luster on it. Doesn't look that circulated. It's a pretty decent looking 1990, so I think we'll set that aside. That might have a place in our rolls. We're in roll number 10, and I got a 2006 here, and these are not normally ones that I would pull out, but you got to look at this coin. This is just in beautiful shape. If I flip it over, you can see it is pretty uncirculated. So I think I'm going to set that aside and put it in my tubes for my newer coins, because I do keep the best examples, and this one's pretty stellar here. So that's pretty nice find. Same roll, and I'm finding a fair number of really nice condition mid 2000s coins. There's a 2008 that I found. There's another 2007. I'll set this aside too. It looks really, really nice. If there are others, I might set them aside as well. We found ourselves a rusty one, but we've also found this one that is totally misshapen and bent. So if I put it down on the mat here, you can see it's got quite the bent to it. Again, people get bored and do weird things to coins. I don't think that just happened on its own. Same rolling, found another really nice looking 1988. I don't know what it is with the 88s in this box, but this is another really nice one. I'm going to set that aside as well. We're in roll number 13. I've got a few US dimes in this particular roll, but I bring in because look at the detail on this. This 2013 P is in really beautiful shape. So I'm definitely going to check to see if this is an upgrade to my own album. It's got some great detail on it, and it looks like it's in just brand new shape. Roll number 14 gives us a pretty nice looking 1974 here to add to our board. Roll 17, we got ourselves a 1999. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's got lots of luster on it, lots of mint luster. It's in really good shape. So I'm going to add this one to our finds as well. Roll number 22, and I was just starting to go through these rolls when I saw something that caught my eye. This first one, it's a really nice looking 1992. Followed by another 1992, followed by a series of 1992s. The whole roll isn't these, but these look like they may have been from an uncirculated roll that somebody has just gotten rid of. But I see an American a little bit further down and some other things. So I don't think it's the whole thing. That's something else too. So I'll see if there's a little stack of uncirculated 92s to pull out from the front here, and then I'll carry on with this roll. Okay, very interesting. About 26, I think, about half of that roll were 1992s. And what I can tell you is you can see, I think they're all uncirculated, but you'll notice that there's some marks on these coins. It might be called milking or something like that. See, it looks like it's dirty. It actually doesn't look like it's uncirculated necessarily. This is really common for coins that have been stored improperly and have been subject to changes in humidity and temperature. And so there will be water that will condense on the coin and give it that milky appearance. If it wasn't verboten to clean your coins, you could probably just sort of polish them up and they'd look shiny again, probably. You can remove those marks. But you might damage any inherent value in the coin. But in any case, I'll set these aside as an interesting find, our stack of 1992s. I'll just see if there are a few that are in really great shape that I will set aside for my collection. We're pretty much at the halfway point here. This is roll number 26, and we haven't found any silver since that 1964 laureate portrait we got over there. Hold on a second. Silver? Did I miss something? We haven't found any silver since that 1964 laureate portrait we got over there. Okay, well, so that happened. I got a 1964 silver in here, and somehow I didn't press the button on the camera properly. Instead, apparently I got about 10 minutes of this, which is not terribly exciting. So I'll have to be much more careful so that I don't miss any key moment like finding 80% silver in my dime roll. Anyway, let's get back to the hunt. I just bring you in because this roll has a few interesting edges and it's just a little bit hard to tell. So this one here, it has the look that it could be either a dirty coin or an old silver coin. And that is an exceptionally filthy 2012. So I don't know what's happened to that one. That's not what we're looking for. And then we got another one right here that just looks a little different color. And it's also a newer coin as well. It just has some interesting stuff on it. And of course, it looks like we've got an American dime here. If I just, toss it all over the place. It's a pretty nice looking 2007. I'll see if we got anything else in here. Same roll. In our last hunt, we took a closer look at some 2001s because we could see some very interesting things on them. And I'm bringing you in because this one here, all along the lettering on the obverse, you can see what appears to be some kind of an error. It could have been die cracks at the base of every letter. So you can see it really clearly across all of the letters, but specifically the ETH and the Roman numeral 2. There's a whole lot of marks all through here. You can see it looks like it's raised, so it looks like it's at some kind of a die crack at each of these letters. There was some kind of a stress on these ones. Very interesting. And here's a look from further away. You can see it's very visible from the naked eye, just exactly what's happening. That's what caught my attention as I was going through it. I'll set this one aside because that's a pretty interesting find. I haven't seen it quite as pronounced as that. So I just finished roll number 30, and another interesting situation where 41 of those coins were 1992s, and there was just a small handful of non-1992s. So that brings us to over a whole roll of those. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but somebody was obviously setting these aside for some reason. And you can see they all have that same sort of milk spotting as some of the other ones we'd found. But looking closely at them, they are uncirculated. They don't have any circulation wear on them. So clearly this was somebody's collection and they've let them free. If only they decided to do that with all their 40s and 50s dimes, that would be pretty incredible. I just thought we'd take a little pause for just a second in the middle of our hunt because I went to the mailbox and I got a little something from Emmanuel's Workbench, another Canadian coin roll hunter on YouTube. So I won a giveaway on his channel. So let's see, we got a card. Congrats on me winning my giveaway. Enjoy the coin and thanks for your support. Well, I appreciate your support too, Emmanuel, and I'm happy to give this coin a home because what we've got here when we shake it out, and we got Emmanuel's Workbench channel sticker, so that's pretty awesome. But I won this 1967 silver dime. It was originally a 100 subscriber giveaway, and apparently Emmanuel tried to give it away 4 times and nobody claimed it. So once your name is drawn, you've got a week to win. So I'll get a little closer here so we can see the mackerel on this silver dime. So this actually just happened. He gave it away a 5th time, and maybe the 5th time is a charm. But I messaged him right away and said, I can give this 1967 dime a home. And we'll flip it over and we'll see Queen Elizabeth there on the obverse. So thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that. That's great. And this coin roll hunting community is a pretty great community. So please support Emmanuel's Workbench. And there are lots of other channels. We're doing something special coming up. I'm not going to mention it right now, but we got a collaboration coming up. I'll make an announcement in a little bit. So thank you so much. And let's get back to the hunt. Roll number 33. And here's a nice looking 1993. And we continue to find some decent looking 90s coins and 80s coins. We'll put that aside. And I saw that there are at least 3 or 4 US dimes in this particular roll. It was the plastic roll where you can see the copper edge. We've already got 23 US dimes so far. So we're going to get a more than our average absolutely in this one. Roll number 34, and we found ourselves another nice 1980s. It's a 1980. It's the wide zero. I already checked it. In pretty good shape for this year. A little bit of discoloration on the reverse just to the right of the date, but otherwise in solid shape. Another one for the board. Roll 34, it's another 1968, so we got to check it, but it is nickel. Roll number 40, and we got ourselves a 2017 Wings of Peace. Same roll, and just like we did in our last box, we got another broad strike. Here's a 2000p, and you can see the rim at the bottom and towards the left is pretty thick, whereas at the top right, it's fairly thin. This is a pretty common error in American dimes, so it's not really worth any significant premium. But this is the kind of variation that I like to find and keep in my collection for sure. Roll number 43, and I've just found probably about the nicest 1981 I've found out in the wild. And I always find that these are a very kind of a weak strike. You can barely read the date, particularly the 1981s. But for a coin this old, this is a pretty good example. You can still see there's some mint luster there, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to put that with the rest of our finds. And we've just got a little ways to go here, hoping we might strike silver again. Okay, we're down to the last roll, number 50 of the box, and either this box got really cold or I just got tired of filming really nice looking 80s and 90s dimes. You can figure that out for yourself, but otherwise, if we don't find anything in that roll, I'll bring you back in for a wrap up. All right, well, we've concluded another fun hunt of dimes. What we got here, we got 39 US dimes, including that broad struck 2000p there. We got we got about 70, 69, I think, 1992 uncirculated dimes over a couple of rolls. So that was interesting to find. I'm just going to go through and find a few of the nicest ones here and keep those. I don't really need to keep all of those, I don't think. We found a nice collection of nicer examples from the 70s, some of the 80s, into the 90s, into the 2000s, and of course we found that 2017 Wings of Peace. Our interesting finds were a couple more of these 2001 where you can see pretty significant either die chips or, you know, some stress marks on the die. So that's interesting. You can see the one on the right on the word Canada above as well. I'll see if I can get in a little closer. But our best find of the day was absolutely this 1964 80% silver dime laureate portrait Queen Elizabeth II. And that's awesome because that's what we're really looking for in dimes is silver. And we found silver. So we're back on. We didn't get any silver in our last box, but we're 3 for the last 4 boxes, which is pretty awesome. If you enjoyed this hunt, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel, Cadroll Hunter, and hit the notification icon so you can find out when we're releasing more videos. I put out videos all the time. Thank you so much for stopping in. We'll see you again next time.